We are live.
Right on. That's
Cool.
better than being dead.
Or better, not at all, as you love to say.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, before we dive into the
It
story you sent, I want to ask, how was church today?
was good. Very interesting.
Oh, really? It was.
Um, it's become quite prevalent to find individuals that are, shall we say, packing heat in church.
In California?
Yes.
Really?
One at each door.
No way.
Yeah. And then there's one in each meeting room, one in the Relief Society and one in the Elders Quorum, and one in the small building that has primary.
Oh, primary's in a separate building.
Yeah, I mean it. Well, it's not a. It's kind of like a separate. It's kind of like an old set up, like an old mission where you have the main chapel, and you go out into a courtyard, and then the buildings are set up in a square around it. And so you have Relief Society building, and then you have primary building, and then you have the elders building.
Is
And it
the
all comes into a main foyer or open air uh, area that has benches and a grass area and trees.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah,
So, is that building just old or?
yeah,
Oh,
yep. It was built around the same time, just after I think it was just after the San Diego Temple.
oh, when was
It was
that built?
designed by the same person. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That was all the information I could glean in one sitting, and still remember
Gotcha.
it.
Um, I'm looking it up. So, so did Teresa go with you, or was it just you?
No, both of us.
Awesome. How did she enjoy it?
She loved it.
Oh, did she?
Yep, yep. It's got quite a array. I mean, it reminds me of the ward I was in when I was in high school. It has about the same amount of primary, the same amount of young men's, young women's, and elders.
Oh, wow. Good. So they're not going to ask you to pack out past sacrament anytime soon, huh?
No, no, no. There's quite. I think there's probably enough to have for the priests to have their own ward.
Wow.
I know.
My ward is super interesting because it's packed. You know my ward. It's packed all the way to even they open the cultural hall to fit everyone in there. And somehow when you go to the priest quorum, there's like 10 of us. Where's everyone
Oh,
go?
really?
Yeah, yeah, it's barren.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Dad, I want you to know that you hurt my feelings in this conversation. Here's why. I asked if the building was old. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's as old as the San Diego Temple, right? So I looked it up, and the San Diego Temple was built in 1993. It's like,
Oh, wow. Right on. Yeah. Yeah.
ouch.
You know, it's all a matter of perspective. At
Um, I'm sure you guys talk.
least you're not. You're only old. You're ancient yet, so be thankful. There is a bright side to that. You're
That's
only
fair.
old. You're not ancient yet.
I have room to
So there you
grow.
go. So it's a matter of perspective.
That's fair. That's fair. My lower back reminds me how old I am every morning. So,
Oh yeah,
mhm.
yeah, yeah, and very profoundly so.
Yes.
It's not like a subtle hint. It
So,
definitely lets you know.
did you guys have Was it fast and testimony meeting in Sacrament today for you guys?
No, it was no, it was a primary program.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, they had all kinds of they, it was a program. I don't know. It didn't seem to have a central theme that I could really tell because they were very widespread about what that they were the songs that they sang. Um, and there was two of them that gave talks. A little girl gave a talk in Spanish, and then a couple of others gave a little talk in English, about a minute and a half each. So it was very interesting. I loved it, and they even sang a song that was written and directed by the primary president.
Oh, really? I didn't think they would really
Yeah, so
necessarily
it was
like
really
allow
neat.
that.
No, no,
Yeah.
because it took me back because this is on a whole subject, but well, I was looking at where they keep the hymn books on the back of the pews, and along with those are what do you call those notebooks, little tiny notebooks like a peachy that has these in them, and you 3-hole punch, so you have a whole binder of hymns that have been written by members of the church, and you can evidently access them online.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
And I've written 3 hymns myself that I enjoy. I like to listen to for me, and I often was as I created those, I was wondering, well, we actually have our own hymn book, so maybe this is sacrilegious.
Oh,
And they're actually asking members of the church if they can write their own hymns, please send them in. And I'm going, really? Wow.
Dad, you should send yours in. We need to get a little legacy going. We need a little,
Yeah.
we need our name somewhere. Come on.
Yeah, right. In a positive manner.
Yes. Good clarification.
I don't want to. I don't want our maid to be known as dirt. We need a little higher, loftier goals than that.
Yeah, 100%. Um, so I just had one notion real quick, and then I think I want to jump into this story that you wrote and talk a little bit about it. And I've read through it and had some ideas and thoughts. But one notion I want to talk about is last time we spoke about like preparation for prayer and doing some different things along that lines. And it was interesting today. We talked about the first general conference talk, which was related to primary hymns. And in priesthood, we were talking about utilizing hymns just to feel the spirit and to prepare ourselves for spiritual activities, just in general, family home evenings, church, which obviously we do, and things like that. Have you ever? For me, music is a huge part of worship. Like I love music as it relates to worship. How do you feel about that?
I do as well.
Yeah.
Music for me, um, because of my PTSD and other issues, music for me has always been a way for me to connect to words in a meaningful way.
Mm,
It's more than just letting something occupy the back of my mind. Music for me is a way to reconnect with what I'm trying to get accomplished.
nice.
So I have a hard time just reading a book. I oftentimes when I read a book, I will have some type of music playing in the background, instrumental music playing in the background, just because music helps me read.
That's interesting. I'm very similar. I like instrumental in the background just to get me more focused. And what's interesting about that is a lot of people they'll listen to music in the background, and they'll have no idea like what the lyrics are or what they're actually listening to. I will, so I have to be careful what music I allow into my sphere, because I will pay attention to those
Mhm.
lyrics. I will know what's being said, it penetrates to me. I feel that. Not a lot of people that I've experienced do. So it sounds like maybe you're similar in that way.
Yep. Yeah, I've been that way since I was little. I've
Yeah.
always had some type of music to help me process everything going on around me.
So do you utilize music prior to searching for a spiritual experience?
If that search is purposeful, yes.
Interesting.
If I'm on a journey just in general as in life, I'm trying to just be minute by minute, moment by moment, trying to be a better person. Then music not so much.
Hmm.
But if I have something directly I'm going to focus on spiritual wise, then absolutely music is the only way to get it up and going for me.
Wow. I think there's a key there for me to help me unlock just kind of some of that. I love, like, for me, reading scriptures is my quickest way to revelation. Um, and I think starting with music to get, just kind of get me going in that direction, I think is a great idea, something I'd love to explore more going forward. And it's a really interesting concept that I'd never really thought about or explored. Super interesting.
Yeah, and I'm very particular, and it's probably just me because of all of the music backgrounds that I've been exposed to. But for me, I'm very particular about the type of music I'm listening to. Even though it's instrumental, I'm not going to listen to extreme thrash instrumental,
Fair. Yeah.
garage type techno stuff if I'm trying to get into the spirit for learning a talk or learning something that's spiritually significant to me. That
Nice.
to me, music speaks for me. So the type of music I'm listening to kind of tells you what I'm thinking about and the direction my mind is going when I'm trying to process information.
Wow. I couldn't have said that. I don't even know if you'd realize what you said, but I couldn't have said it better myself. Music speaks for me. Um, wow. That is yeah. I couldn't have said that any better myself. That cognitively encapsulates so much of how I think and feel about that subject. Yeah, and super interesting. Yeah. Have you ever heard of
Yeah,
the Piano Guys?
yes,
I love the Piano Guys. They're great.
yeah, and 40 Fingers.
I don't think I've heard of 40 Fingers.
Yeah, it's five guys that play guitar, and they each have a special type of guitar that they play. One is like just basic acoustic. One is nylon strings. One's like a more of a shorter Spanish guitar. But they're all very, very classically trained musicians, and
Oh,
the stuff that they play is just can go from simple melodies, or they even did the what is it that HBO movie back in the day that had all of the families fighting for power of the throne.
oh, Game of Thrones?
Yeah, that's the one. They did the theme song for that,
Oh,
and it
really?
was absolutely fantastic. Not something I would listen to on a Sunday morning, but that's an instrumental that you just go, wow, how about that?
Wow. Yeah, I could go on and on. That's fantastic. But I really want to take some time and I want to dive into this book that you sent me and get some core concepts and just get a good understanding of the book. And it's called The Crow's Silence, a young adult novel, and I have the full manuscript. So it's The Crow's Silence. That's the whole title.
Yeah. Just one second. Let me
Sure.
grab something. This here is just a couple of the stories I've written.
Did you want to touch about this today, or were you not ready to talk about this today?
Yeah, no, oh, that's Lon's.
Man, you have just so much talent over there, you don't even know how to keep track.
Right, because I had my notes all ready to go and I put them away for some reason.
Dang tidy, man.
Oh. So, which one are we talking about?
It's the one you sent me. It says the first story for the podcast, and it's called The Crow's Silence. Basically, it's a young man who's in Utah. His parents divorce. He's in Utah dealing with some trepidations. Eventually goes down and moves with his dad. I think his name is Alma, or is it Alma? Or no, Amos. He goes
Oh,
lives with his dad, Amos.
okay. Mhm.
And it's a really cool story about rekindling his relationship with Amos. The kid's name is Caleb. It's a cool story about how they kind of work through that and how he uses his faith in the church and kind of works through that. And there's some really unique scenes in the story that I'd like to talk about a little bit. So first of all, tell me a little bit about how this even came to be.
This is a uh, kind of a personal journey story. Um, without actually giving names or places, actual places, I tried to be as general as possible to get the idea across that just because things haven't worked out for you the way you thought they should have worked out for you, um, you still can look at things from whichever perspective you desire. Um, and so I took a personal experience about how losing contact with you and rekindling that relationship from afar to be able to bring us closer together for the rest of eternity. And I thought, wow, has that ever? I wonder if anybody else has had that journey. Has anybody else had it affected them? Because I happen to move to a place where spirituality is relevant in a lot of cultures here. We have three Native Indian tribes within walking distance. The Spanish influence, and so I'm immersed in all of that culture here. And thinking about that, I was wondering, and then this story popped into my head,
Hmm.
and I go, well, I'm going to run with this.
I love that. That's
So
great.
without saying Jordan, use Caleb.
Caleb, got it. Yeah. And it's interesting because I felt some familiar themes as I kind of read through some of this. What's really
I was wondering
interesting,
if you was gonna.
yeah, if I was going to connect on some of those.
Yeah.
Um, what's interesting is the different ways they both connect with their emotions. Caleb connects through with his emotions and thoughts through drawing a lot. He's got his notebook everywhere. He's always drawing in his notebook. He's always working on that. But Amos, I keep wondering if I got that right. Is it Amos? I think it is. Yeah, it is. He's a musical guy, which I know you're into music, guitar, and you do a lot of music and drums and stuff like that. So tell me about that. Like, is that purposeful, the fact that he's always into that, to his drawing, or is that just an interesting part of
Yeah,
the story?
because when you were growing up, you were always kind of the individual that if you were playing with a bunch of people and somebody took your toy, you were always oh, cool. Now we have somebody else to play with. Wait a minute, let me go get another toy. That was always you growing up, and you were always very creative. You loved things like Etch a Sketch and Light Bright. Um,
Oh yeah, I did have,
you
I
were
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, you were always really creative, and so when the story came to me, I feel so. It's been a while. How do I describe Caleb? How does he filter through my head?
Hmm.
And then I start thinking about the songs that you like, the type of music you listen to, and that had a great influence on how you were perceived in this story.
Hmm. Gotcha. Love it. Um, there was another part on here I really want to talk about. Is there any part in specifically you really wanted to touch about?
Just the fact that, like I said, that no matter where you think you are in life, that's all based on a perception, and perceptions can be changed, just like a pair of glasses can be changed. They're not set in stone. I mean, who knows? You could walk into a wall and all of a sudden have better than 20/20 vision for some reason, and nobody can explain it.
Hmm.
You just never know what's going to happen, what's down the road. So perceptions are all based on everything. That's why I try to be very particular about the music I listen to, because music transcends words. It has a way of getting into the soul.
Yeah.
So if you put bad fuel into the soul, you're going to get bad results, and I don't want that.
Right. The Lord's pretty clear about that, isn't he? About,
Yes, absolutely.
reaping what you sow and the fruits um of what you put in and such, and it's such a true eternal concept. What we put in, we can't put in garbage and then get out, beautiful food. So
That's right.
right, you got to be really careful what you put in. Tell me about the crow that shows up multiple times and seems to be guiding Caleb a lot in this story. Help me understand about that.
The crow is my version of prayer.
Oh.
And to me, I've always had maybe this is a subject for another time, but I've always had my hardest problem has always been around the subject of prayer for me.
How so?
And I don't I don't feel the connection that everybody says I should feel or I think I should feel. I don't, and that doesn't mean that I don't try by any means. But the fact that for me, at this stage in my life, it doesn't carry any weight for me. That's just something I struggle with. It's like breathing. I do it. It's part of who I am. And if I stop, I'm not going to be liking it very much. Well, I think prayer is the same way. Even though I may feel like I'm getting nothing out of it, I am almost, well, no, I'm 100% sure that there's a teaching in there for me. And I don't know if that's going to come in this life or next life, but I'm sure it's going to come into. And I don't want to say, well, I just quit because it wasn't working. That's not going to fly.
Interesting. Interesting. You know,
And a crow, I
yeah.
kind of think is the same way. They keep popping up. They're persistent. They love you when you love them. Um, they're intelligent. They're very observant, and they know how to give just as well as take. When you've progressed that relationship far enough, I think prayer same way. I think that once I'm able to progress it far enough, maybe then that at some point in time, maybe it'll click. But
Yeah.
until then, I just keep trying.
Hey, will you let me know when that happens? Because I'm in the same boat, Dad. I'm in the same boat. And it's interesting because earlier you had said like music speaks for you, right? And that's kind of I can't ever think of a time where I've prayed and it's brought me like brokenhearted and to tears and to really think about the true nature of my Heavenly Father and just prayer alone. But I have had times where a song hits me just right. And I'm thinking about the lyrics of the song, and I'm ruminating over. a particular subject with the Savior or my Heavenly Father and my relationship, that will move me and bring me into that, not the emotion equates to the spirit, but there's definitely a brokenhearted nature there that I feel more intently because of that song, and that experience than I ever have in just like prayer alone. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know really what to think about that.
Well, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that music has different effect on everybody differently. Each individual processes music different. We could both be listening to the same song, but I guarantee you, as that song is going, we're having different thoughts.
Yep.
We're processing it differently. So when we talk about music and how it affects us and how it speaks for us, there is no wrong way to do it unless we're talking about using the wrong music for the wrong reason and getting the wrong results.
Which we already talked about, right? About how that
Right.
works. Yeah. Um,
Yep.
there's one song. Is there any song that really that you think of right now that pops into your mind as one that always hits, it always invites the spirit? And as you said, you think this song, you're like, this song says what I can't.
You're gonna find this probably peculiar,
Sesame
but
Street?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with "Put Your Shoulder to the Wheel."
No way, really.
Yeah, I don't know why my head goes to that song almost always first, and maybe that's just the Lord's way of saying, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. I love that. That's great. That's great. So for me, there's a bunch that like Nathan Pacheco, he has In Christ Alone. Beautiful, fantastic song. Another one is by Lauren, I think it's Diego. I don't know if you ever heard her or not. She's
Mhm.
fantastic, great music, but she has a song that's called You Say. And basically, in this song, she's presenting her view of herself. And it says, but you say that's not true. You say, like in some of her lyrics, she says, I say I am weak, you say I'm strong. Right. And it's just such a beautiful encapsulation of our relationship, some of our relationships who resonate with this song, right? Our relationship with our Heavenly Father and perception, as you've pointed out. And it always reminds me to refocus my perception and think about the truth behind it. And it breaks through a lot of barriers for me. So I love that song.
Yeah, and see that's all part of your process. And if you don't stay true to your process, then you're what you're telling your spirit and your body is to go in two different directions at the same time.
What do you mean?
And your body is well, you're telling your spirit through music to go one direction, and your body, your mind is telling you something different. Until you put those two together for a single focus, your mind and body is gonna be going like this to each other. They're going to be spinning around each other. They're trying to interact properly, and you're not going to get the right result if you don't use the right process.
Interesting.
It's all about staying true to your process.
Staying true to your process. I don't know that I know my
Yep.
process that well, if I'm honest.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if I really like sat and thought about it as a process. Is it considered like a process? This is such an interesting topic. Is it considered a process if I say, hey, my heart's hurting right now, like I want to listen to some music like this to help readjust my perception or my perspective, sorry. Um, is that a process?
Well, it is in its truest form. A process is nothing more than mechanisms that we purposely go through. Um, like you said, if something happens and the first thing that you want to do is go listen to some music, Step one in the process.
Okay.
Number two, you have to decide what music. So, step two in the process. So you are automatically going through a process without actually calling it a process.
Got it.
I mean, there are others that when the very first thing, if something bad happens, the first thing they want to go do is drink a bunch of alcohol or use drugs. That's all part of a process. So the type of process that we use, which I know you have a good process because you know how to study.
Right.
So you're used to using a process. And so
Yep.
if for whatever reason, if you had a big test that you wanted to study for, I don't think that part of your process is going out and partying the night before, drinking as much alcohol as you can and getting into a wreck. And then go get up and try to take the test the next day. I'm pretty sure that's not part of your process.
It is not. No.
So by not doing that, you're technically staying true to your process. And if you keep doing that, you have proven results showing you that as long as I do this, I'm going to get this. So I'm going to keep doing this to get this. That's just staying true
Interesting.
to your process.
And that's so interesting, and because my favorite part of my career and what I do on a professional level is build processes for organizations. It's just like a big part of what I do. It's why I just got hired where I got hired because they say, "Hey, look, Jordan, we have some goals and we're not sure how to get there. We need you to come in and build some processes for us to achieve some of these overarching goals." And what makes a great process is one, being absolutely crystal clear on your goal. Like if you don't know what I'm trying to attain or where I'm trying to get, it is impossible. A compass is only as good as your understanding of which direction you want to go. It'll tell you where's north and where's south. But if you don't know where you want to go, who cares where north and south is? Who cares? So it's crystal clear. And then two, how good are your procedures that are backing up your process? And then those procedures have to be laid out in SOPs. And then you start getting into the weeds, right? About doing that. So process policies, procedures, those all build your process in the long term. It's what makes it sustainable. That's what allows it to grow. That's how great companies become great companies. And it sounds like what you're saying, and this is such a good point. That's how great lives become great lives. It's that same
Yep.
mechanism. That's it. So
Uh, Christ himself, he preached process. He said, "This is what I want you to do, and this is how I want you to do it. Now, please just go do it."
mm, hmm yeah,
People don't call it a process, but that's what it is.
you're right. I mean, would you say going to church every Sunday is part of a spiritual process?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would say that is a procedure to a spiritual process.
Correct.
Yeah, super interesting. Wow. That's crazy interesting. Yeah, I need to build
And
more
that's how the
processes.
crow. Yeah, that's how the crow in that story always. He's much more. He's almost bigger than the story, but yet he's just the crow.
Oh
And
man,
if you really want to get into the crow, he is. Oh boy, he's huge.
yeah. I'm glad you say
So
that, and that's
it's
why I
all a
brought him up.
perspective.
Yeah, because he is prevalent in every section and every major instance. For example, when he's at the campfire and he's just buried in his own thoughts and his own woes, we'll say, that young girl, the surfer, comes along. She's trying to invite him out of his box, right? Well, who's there as part of that? The crow. So he's just there
Yep.
in every major aspect of the story. That and the letter that Amos is continuously. It sounds like he's trying to write. He's just trying to figure out how do I heal this with words, right? And then and make this right
Yeah,
with
I
words.
couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, go
How
ahead.
do I heal this with words? Was that's perfect.
Hmm
Love that.
And we learn in the story. I don't want to. ruin the end for anybody, but we we learn
Okay.
in the story that's kind of a fool's errand. At the end of the day, it was the guidance of the crow. We'll say it's the spirit of our Heavenly Father that puts him in a position to heal through love and application of gospel principles is really what breaks it and really what allows him to heal, allows him to move forward. Honest communication. There was nothing that he could, and he says it in the end, like, dude, I even stopped trying on the letter because this was my goal, and we're already doing it, and so
Yep.
we're good to go.
Yep.
What
You know,
a
what really, what I think what put this story the over the starting line for me to actually sit down and put it to paper was we had this conversation one time after I had written you a couple of songs. I sent you a playlist, and it was what you said about that playlist that really struck home. Is you had said, Dad, I love the playlist. I love the music. That's great. But the purpose for the music you got to realize isn't the purpose you think it is. I don't hold that against you. That's water. You didn't say water under the bridge. You said that's in the past, and we're focused on the future. And I don't hold that against you. The past is the past. And after that conversation, I sat down and and I went to go write more music about it. And I had to stop myself and go, wait a minute. We just had this conversation. Don't do that anymore. It's not necessary. You've got it out of your system. Great. Now move on.
yeah, heal.
And I go, okay, right. So no music about that. But I got a story.
You're clever.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do. And
That's
you
clever.
probably don't get that reference, but that's okay.
Oh, I know little I Love Lucy.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'm probably the last
You
generation that's gonna know that
into
though.
that one. I didn't have to throw that lure very far.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh man.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that whole
that's
conversation
funny.
really sparked off that story. Couldn't just put it. I remember doing the last couple of paragraphs, doing the pee dance, and her trying to get it all written down before I forgot it, trying to get out there.
Perfect.
Oh.
Good times. Well, I'm glad. I think it
So
was great. And
that story has a lot of personal, a lot of my innermost feelings about a lot of things are in that story.
yeah,
It may seem a lot really generic for a lot of young adults that read it. Oh, there I am being lofty. But it encompasses.
yeah, yeah. I think I've read it through it just twice. And there's probably a lot more there that I didn't even catch on to or didn't cling to, just trying to understand enough of it to, hey, I could talk about it. I get some of the ideas of it and pinpoints and things like that. But I'm grateful for you sharing. I'm grateful for you sending it over and taking the time to talk to me about it, help me understand more about what it means, and your perspectives. I think it's just been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I mean, if we don't have if we're not able to communicate as a species with one another, then we've abandoned all hope.
I think we see that a
So,
lot in
it,
today's society.
and for yeah, and for me, I don't care what anybody says. I feel knowledge is free. So I freely give of everything that I have up here, all the ideas that I could possibly, for lack of a better analogy, shove down your throat. I'm sure that you've seen your inbox of the
Yes.
25,000 stories I've sent you. So
Yeah. In fact, I did a search. I narrowed my inbox to your emails just to do read. I'm like, holy moly, this guy sent me a lot of stuff. I didn't really notice how much it was because I was getting so many emails from jobs I was applying to and things like that that it got kind of lost in that shuffle. And then I did that search to look around, like, Jiminy crime, I knew this guy. What are you doing? A full-time job on this or something?
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I'm retired. What else am I going to do?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I really look forward to talking about more of them and diving into some other concepts that we have in the future, and some other just some things we can address going forward and things like that. So I'm excited.
No, I'd rather stay in pants if you don't mind.
Oh, is that right?
No dresses allowed. Yeah, no dresses. I'll, I'll stay in pants. If that's okay with you, sir.
Well, can we compromise on kilts?
Okay. There you go. McTunnel you are.
Yeah, for sure. I did that 23andMe, and we got some. Well, we're gonna talk about that. I did a 23andMe, and we got some interesting
You
genealogy.
did?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I would love to see that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I sure did. So, maybe we'll address that in another episode. We'll talk kind of about genealogy a little bit and where we're from and all that. So it'll be super interesting.
Absolutely.
Cool, Dan. Well, I'm grateful for this
Wow.
time. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All right, I
It's
love
been
you.
much appreciated.
It has. It's been great.
Love you
Well,
too. You take her easy.
yep, you too,
Don't do
Dan.
anything I wouldn't do.
Well, I'm about to use the restroom, so I don't know if that's on the list, but
Okay.
all right.
Have at it, young man.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.